Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy Winning Wednesday. So I hope you all have had a wonderful day. My day has been wonderful. Started out a little on the chilly side this morning, and I'm thankful that the temperature was not extremely hot. It was a little warm. Like right now, when I came out the house to come do this video, it was a little breeze, but then you quickly feel the humidity in the air. Right now it's only 81 degrees. It's 6:15. And so listen, y'all, I will not be with you long, only because today is day 2 of my I'm sorry, I have to let my neighbor. Today is day 2 of our Circle of Champions class, and so I'm super excited about it because tonight we're going to be talking about starting your own memberships, for your clients. And that could be a membership group, or it could be a website that you create that people can pay a membership to access information from. And so we'll be talking about that, which is really, really good. And I'm so excited about it. Not necessarily saying that I'm going to jump out there and start my own membership group, because I was talking to my bestie earlier today, and we were talking about how when you decide that you are going to do a membership group, you have to really be prepared to put your all in all into it. And to be quite honest with you, right now I am just not. I have too many things going on because I still work. I am not a full-time entrepreneur. I wish I was, but I'm not. And so I still have a job, and that, along with doing my YouTube videos, and y'all, I am so behind on getting my podcast done. Lord, charge it to my head and never to my heart. But I decided that, this weekend I will sit down, put pen to paper, and go back to what I used to do, where I pre-recorded my podcast for the next month. And then that way I'm not trying to each week come up with content and then record it and then upload and what have you. So I will definitely be set for the month of September by the end of August, because we got to get back to some normalcy, okay? So, like I said, having said all that, what I was trying to get to was the fact that for me, having a membership site would be great, because that's income that's coming in every month from the people that access your membership site, whatever it may be. And that's great, but you have to have the time to put into it, because if I'm paying money to be a part of your membership site, then I want what you have promised me. And if you say, come be a part of my membership, and you're going to get weekly videos, you're going to get daily videos, or whatever it is you're offering people, you've got to be able to do that, because people are going to be looking for it, because their thing is, I'm paying for this, so I want what you promised me. And so what I don't want to do is put myself out there, and I'm overextending myself with all the other things that I have to do, because life still has to go on. However, maybe the beginning of next year is something that I can look into doing. So I'm working all of that out mentally, but I'm just not going to overtax myself, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Now, having said all of that, let's jump into today's topic, which is how to be vulnerable. And to be honest with you, this was not what I was going to talk about today, but we talked about this yesterday in our class, and we were talking about being vulnerable. And one of the things that I think that we as a people, we don't like to do is to be vulnerable. And so people were sharing their stories of vulnerability, and I shared my story about how a few years ago I did a video, and I remember it like it was yesterday, because it was actually on my birthday, and I had watched a video that C.T. Fletcher did, and he was talking about, if you know who I'm talking about, then you know he had open heart surgery, and it was very, very major. And he was talking about how he was laying on the hospital bed, and he was thinking, Lord, why me? And so it just made me, as I did the video that day, it made me stop and think about, wow, having been told that I'd been having seizures, and I do take seizure medication. I told you all that every day, twice a day, once in the morning, once at night before I go to bed. And while it does not stop seizures, it keeps them under control. So I don't have them often, which is why I'm allowed to drive. But the majority of the time, if I have one, it's either at night in my sleep. So I'm very, very, very careful about what I watch before I go to bed, because I used to love watching scary movies and it didn't bother me. Well, when I watched them too close to bedtime, in my sleep, my mind, you know what I mean, is replaying what I saw, only I'm in the movie, not the characters that I was watching. And so that can cause you to have a seizure. And people say, well, Michelle, how do you know if you had a seizure in your sleep? Well, I know that because when I wake up, the side of my tongue is sore. And one of the things about having a seizure is that sometimes you bite your tongue. And when I tell y'all it's quite painful, it is. And it lasts for quite a few days. So I'm very careful about that. Things like being stressed out can do it. Low blood sugar can do it. So I always try to make sure I have some type of snack with me. And as a matter of fact, I usually keep my trail mix in a small, snack size Ziploc bags. I need to put some more of those in my purse because I don't want my blood sugar level to drop and I end up having a seizure, because that's happened before too. So again, I said all of that to say that as I did that video, I made myself very vulnerable, and I won't lie, I ended up crying because I was sharing with you all how I said, Lord, why me? Why am I dealing with this? I'm a good person. You know, I'm good to people. I care about people. So why am I having to deal with this? But I also believe that God does not give us more than we can handle. I believe that God allows us to go through the things that we go through for a reason. I haven't quite figured out what that reason is yet, but you know, once I do, we'll get through that as well. However, at that time, that's how I was feeling, and my mind said, Michelle, you can't put this video out here. People know you as a powerhouse. You can't put this out here. What are people going to think about you? What are they going to say about you? And then, I wrestled with that thing. Oh my goodness, I went back and forth, and then finally I said, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I am not going to worry about it. I'm going to put the video out there. People can think what they want to think. Doesn't matter to me. And believe it or not, I got some awesome feedback from that video. I got phone calls, I got text messages, I got emails from people saying, you know, thank you so much for sharing that message. It really hit home for me because I'm dealing with, and they went into whatever it was they were dealing with. So again, to sum all of that up, sometimes you have to be willing to be vulnerable, because your being vulnerable helps so many other people. And so I want you all not to sit back and think, well, I can't be vulnerable because I'm worried about what people are going to say about me and what they're going to think about me. You got to let that go and just allow yourself to be vulnerable, because whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're going through, somebody else is dealing with it or something similar to it. And you could be missing out on an opportunity to help someone, all because you're worried about what people are going to say and think about you. Okay, so let's jump on into the notes. So a lot of people resist the thought. Now, let me say this, y'all. I forgot to say this. Let me say this. What I'm not saying is, I'm not saying get out here on social media and spill all your life history to people. I'm not saying you have to do that. However, I am saying you don't have to get out on social media and paint a picture of yourself that you just have it going on. Everything is great. You don't ever have a bad day. Don't do that. Because now you're just painting this false picture of your life that's not true. And you have people out here thinking, dang, why can't I be like her? Why can't I be like him? Their life is always great. And here I am going through all of this stuff. No, their life is not great. They're telling you that, but their life is not great. I don't care if you're a millionaire, billionaire, you still have something that you're dealing with. Okay, so stop leading people to believe that you're just leading this perfect life when you're not. Now, a lot of people resist the thought of being vulnerable. So what is vulnerability? Well, it's being uncertain, taking a huge risk, and emotionally exposing yourself to others. It will require you to step outside of your comfort zone so you can connect with others. Society looks at being vulnerable as a weakness. And let me put a pin right there real quick. That is so true. And that is why a lot of people don't like allowing the world to see that they're vulnerable, because society, let me air quote, society likes to look at being vulnerable as you being weak. And you're not weak. You're just, you're just putting it out there, and you're letting the world know that, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. I have issues. I have down days just like everybody else does. But not being vulnerable at times keeps you from being a blessing to others. I started off this video by saying that when we don't want to be vulnerable, we miss the opportunity to bless somebody else. So that's why I said, don't allow your situation, either that you're going through or one that you've been through, keep you from being a blessing to other people. I don't know about you all, but I wake up every day and I say, Lord, allow the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, and just my life as a whole be a blessing to just one person. More would be great, but at least one person, Lord, let me bless them just with my presence, and help me to be careful about what I say and what I do, because I care about being a blessing to other people. Some people probably don't, but I do. So whenever you feel the need to not be vulnerable, remember it's a natural part of growing and simply living. Again, we don't like to be vulnerable, but it's a part of growing and it's a part of living. Because at some point in time in your life, you are going to be vulnerable with somebody. And if you're that person where you can't be vulnerable with anybody, you really need to work on that. Because I would imagine that you are holding so much inside of you when you can't be vulnerable. And eventually that's going to take a toll on you. So you got to let it out. So here are some ways that you can work more on being vulnerable. And like I said, I have 4 points I'm going to give you, and I'm going to leave you be so I go in here and eat my dinner real quick. And I got about 30 minutes to get on my call. So number one, I said, show compassion towards yourself. We worry about showing compassion towards others, but many of you forget to show compassion towards yourself. So remind yourself that you are brave for being vulnerable, and be proud of it, no matter how big or small. And like I said, as I was doing that video a couple of years ago, I wrestled with myself. I went back and forth about whether or not to share the video, because I had already uploaded it. But when I went back to watch it, it was like, oh my God, I'm sitting here crying like a blithering idiot. I can't put that out there, Lord. But then I decided, nope, I'm going to do it, because that video is going to bless somebody. Little did I know it would go on to bless many people. And I'm so thankful for that. So I'm glad I listened and I allowed God to speak to me, and I was willing to listen to go ahead and put it out there, because I was being brave, for people, other people that aren't able to be brave. And some people may look at that and say, well, hey, if Michelle can be brave and share that story, I can be brave and share my story with other people. And then it doesn't matter how big or small it is, because it's not a competition. Number two, don't worry about what people think about you. So what they think about you is none of your business, and you can't control their thoughts anyway. So again, as you go through life, stop worrying about what people think about you, because you can't control it. They're going to think about what they think. Whatever they want to think, that's what they're going to think. It doesn't matter if you have given them proof that you are not the person that they think that you are. If they believe it in their minds, then honey, that's what it's going to be. So guess what? That's none of your business. Move on with your life. Pray for those folks. Pray for them, move on with your life, and let them think whatever they want to think. Who cares? Who cares? Because what you think of me, it doesn't pay my bills. It does not, allow me to have the things that I have, allow me to go to places that I go. So why am I worried about it? At one time I would worry about it, but now, honey, the older I get, I don't give a daggone. And that's not really what I wanted to say, but I don't care. Number three, stop trying to be perfect. So nobody is perfect, so stop trying to be. Trying to be perfect only makes you feel even worse about yourself. And again, I opened up with that. Too often, we see people on social media and they paint this picture that they have this great life, they're in this great relationship, and I mean, their life is just perfect. Their man or their woman, they're always spoiling them, taking them out, doing this, that, and the third. But the reality is behind closed doors, y'all can't stand each other. But the rest of the world doesn't know that, because you painted this picture that you're in this perfect relationship, and that's not really what it is. So let me just say this. I am of the belief that whatever's going on in your house, be it your family, your relationships, whatever, keep it to yourself. What you don't want to do is go out there and offer up a lie Now, I don't have to tell you what's really going on, but I'm not going to offer up a lie. However, by the same token, I'm not going to go out here and badmouth my family on social media. I'm not going to go out here and badmouth my man on social media. We might not be getting along at the moment, but I'll be daggone if I'm going to sit and badmouth them in front of the rest of the world. I'm just not going to do that. That's not me. That is not me at all. And so I don't want you to do that to yourself. Don't get out here on social media and you are, trying to paint this picture that you're just this perfect person, and you're not. You're broken in so many ways. Your life is falling apart. You don't know how you're going to make your ends meet. You don't know if you're coming or going, and sometimes you're coming and going all at the same time. But don't get out there trying to paint this picture that you're just this perfect person, because now somebody is looking up to you. I always tell people, you know, when you have a social media account, a lot of times you have people watching. They may not comment, they may not offer anything, but they are watching. And they're looking at you and they're thinking, wow, you know what? Shell's really got it going on. Well, you know, in some areas I do, but I don't always have it going on. I don't always have it together. And if I'm not feeling well or I'm not feeling like motivating, I'll tell you. I have no problems about that. Now, because you know why? Because I don't have to, I don't have to impress anybody. I really don't. And so I've had times where I got on here and said, you know what, y'all, I'm doing this video today, but I just really don't feel like motivating a soul. I'm just not feeling myself today. And I do have those moments. And it's all right if I tell you that. And sometimes I don't share them with you. I just go on with my topic and move on with my life. But when I feel like I want to share it, I can just be honest and say that. But stop trying to be perfect, because being perfect does not exist. All these perfect people that you see on social media or in your family or at work or in your various social groups, they may look perfect on the outside, but inside, oh my goodness. Let me say this, I'm going to move on. So I remember being in high school and there was a couple, and everybody thought they were just the perfect couple. And little did they know that this guy was whooping that girl's tail behind closed doors. I mean, belittling her and just whooping her tail physically, okay, and mentally. But on the outside, one would never know that. And I used to think, why in the world would you put him up on this pedestal to make him seem like he's all of that when he really wasn't? But see, she loved him enough that she wasn't going to put him down in front of the rest of the world. Well, you know what? I don't have to put you down in front of the rest of the world, but by the same token, I'm not going to put you up on a pedestal. However, and because, let me say that, you know, in the famous words of my good friend Charles, don't come for me unless I send for you. Don't do it. Don't do it. And because you raise your hands, guess what? I got hands too, and I'm not afraid to raise them. Let me just put it that way. But I refuse to allow a man to put his hands on me. Been down that road, and guess what? Michelle fights back. Okay? Now, you might be a lot stronger than me, but Michelle will fight back. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. Last one, number 4. Be honest about how you feel. Listen to this. It's easy to close yourself off to the people around you, but by not opening up, you don't allow yourself to get the help that you need. Keep in mind that by sharing your issues, you are actually helping so many other people. Have you noticed that I've been driving that home during this video, that by opening up and being real with not only yourself, but the rest of the world, other people around you, you're helping so many people. See, because other people can learn from you and they can say, okay, well, you know what? Michelle got I was getting ready to say something. Michelle, no, I'm going to say it. Michelle grew some balls and she decided to get out that unhealthy relationship. So if she can do it, I know I can do it. Michelle decided that she was tired of that job that was going nowhere. So she left it and she's got a much better job. And if she can do it, I can do it. Michelle decided to move from one state to another to have a better life. And if she can do it, I can do it. And the list can go on and on and on. So all I'm saying is that when you are not honest with yourself, you close yourself off from being able to get the help that you need. And you you make sure that you're not able to help other people. See, I don't have to know you to help you. My sharing my story with you can help you in more ways than you can even imagine. And all I did was share a story with you. Now, I don't always know how the stories that I share and the videos that I do are helping people, but I do appreciate those of you that come back and say, Michelle, you know what? I really, really enjoyed that video. It spoke to me. That was right on time. I needed that. It's just like when I do my motivational posts in the morning. I post on my Facebook page. I post in a Facebook group that I'm an administrator for, and on both of my Instagram channels. And I love it when people say, I needed this. This was right on time. You have no idea how I needed to hear this. And that blesses me because I'm being a blessing to other people. And so I ask God every day, Lord, show me how I can bless somebody today. I may not have money to give you, or I may not have a lot to give you, but I want to be able to bless you with my actions, or bless you with something that I share with you. But again, if you are not honest about how you feel, you can't help other people. So you haven't been able to help yourself. So how can you help other people? I'm just saying. Plus, closing yourself off and not being honest with how you feel keeps you from getting the help that you need. See, people can help you if you're honest about what it is that you need. But as long as you refuse to be dishonest, you can't get the help. And here's the thing, y'all. Here is the thing. All you're doing is lying to yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, somebody in your inner circle, and when I say your inner circle, I mean your family or your true inner circle of friends, somebody amongst that group of people, they already know what you're going through. They don't say anything, but people see it. People sense it. They feel it. If they know you, they know something's not right. So even though they're not saying anything, they know something is off. And so how are you going to get the help you need when you think you're fooling the rest of the world? And in essence, all you're doing is hurting yourself. They want to help you, but they say, well, hey, until she comes or he comes out and says, I need the help, I'll keep my mouth closed. I'm not saying a word. And you go on and on and on. You go day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, and you're not getting the help that you need. Why? Because you won't be honest and say that you need help. I'm one of these people, and I'm going to let you be. I'm one of these people that if I had a heavy box to lift or something heavy, period, instead of me asking for the help or accepting the help, I would say, oh, no, thank you. I got it. Now, was that item heavy? Heck, yes, it was heavy. But I could not be honest with myself and admit that the powerhouse needed help. And so I've turned down a lot of help. Why? Because I was worried about what people were going to say and think. Now, honey, if somebody says, oh, baby girl, let me get that. Okay, help yourself. Can you just put it right over here? I sure will. I ain't worried about what you think. I'm still going to be a powerhouse. But if I need help in that moment, I'm going to take it. Period. In the sentence. Y'all listen, that's it. That's all, because I need to get in this house, get my dinner, and get logged on for my class, which I'm super excited about. And I'll share with you all on Friday, summing up, what we've done over the last couple of days, because it was last night, tonight, and tomorrow. So I'll share those updates with you on Friday. And other than that, y'all, that's it. I want you to go out there and learn how to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. Stop thinking that you're weak. You're not a weak person. You are not weak at all. But you can be vulnerable. Because again, being vulnerable, it allows you to get the help that you need. But it also allows you to help other people. Because they're being blessed by your story. They're being blessed by whatever it is that you're going through. So stop holding that stuff in, because all it's doing, y'all, is just eating away at you on the inside. That's all it's doing, is eating away at you. Sadly, when you think about the number of people who have taken their own lives because they were dealing with stuff, they were dealing with their own inner demons, and they would not be honest about how they were feeling, and they wanted to keep it all in, either because they didn't know how to tell people or they were afraid to tell people. And then you get that notice that they've taken their lives, and you're like, oh my God, are you serious? And you look and you say to yourself, well, I thought that person, they seemed like a happy person. They were always happy. They were always fun to be around. I just can't imagine that they would do that. Well, they did that because, again, they didn't know how to be vulnerable. And they were holding it all in, and to the point where they couldn't hold it in anymore. And the only way they knew how to deal with it, because they wanted that instant relief, that instant gratification, was to take their lives. Because they said, hey, if I take my life, I'm not here. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to deal with it anymore. And it's so sad. And just as I said that, I'm thinking about 3 people that I went to high school with that took their lives. And like I said, it's just so, so sad. So, having said all of that, you guys, hopefully something I said resonates with you and helps you to allow yourself to become vulnerable, because you don't know who you're helping, as well as helping yourself. If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you come back on Friday where I have another motivational topic for you. And if you have not already done so, please, you guys, help me out. Help my channel, okay? You see what I said? I talked about being vulnerable, right? Well, I'm being vulnerable right now. Help me out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button, because it helps the algorithm and it gets my video out to more people. So if you are, and that costs you absolutely nothing. So if you can do that for me, I would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciative for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for those of you that have already done it, and thank you for those of you that will. Now, if this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back. Y'all know I miss you and I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there, enjoy the rest of your Winning Wednesday. Have a great evening. Whatever you do, do so responsibly, and just be safe, no matter where you go or what you do. Again, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. It's a part of life, and we all do it. I love you all so much. You know the drill. You know the spiel. I love you to the moon and back, and there's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that you could ever do about it, except being vulnerable. Because I'm telling you all that I love you. I care about you, and I want nothing but the best for you. So go out there, be the best that you can be. And if anytime, you guys, anytime, and I sometimes forget to say this or remind you, but if there's any time that you need to talk to me one-on-one, click on that Linktree button in the description box. You'll have my contact information. Reach out to me. Let's sit down and let's talk. I don't ever, and I mean ever, never want you to think that you have to go through this life by yourself and nobody cares about you, because I care about you. I want nothing but the best for you. So if you need to talk, sweetie, always know that you can reach out to me. Let's talk about whatever's going on. Let me help you go in the right direction that you need. And even if it's not something that I can help you with, if all I can do is pray for you, let me know that too, and I will be more than happy to do that. But if there's some help that I can give you, I can recommend you to somebody else that can truly take you a little bit further, let me know that. I don't want you to ever think that you're doing this by yourself and nobody cares, because like I said, I care. Always have, always will. Love you all, and we'll talk again on Friday.